people should do is look at the testimony of many of the teachers who have spoken up, which is available on a lot of sites, but including a collective blog, because the teachers really speak in an eloquent way to the human pieces that are lost in the intense pressure to try to get up those test scores at just about any cost. And I actually am going to be adding a note, which I just haven't had time to do yet, to my own piece as sort of a disclaimer to say I don't believe that the tests are really an important measure at all, to be totally honest. Okay? But I guess that one thing, the way that I contextualize it, and I want to contextualize it for you, is if a place is already doing that to our kids, where they've linked kids to just sit in front of computers, and it's only about getting that test score up, if that's the only language they're speaking, we know it's inhumane in that environment because of what we've been reading about from all those teachers, then this is the thing that needs to be exposed, that even this one thing that they're trying to do, they can't do, because that's not what it's about. It's not even about trying to get those test scores up, although they need that, or at least they need to be able to create the impression of it. It's about getting the money. That's all it is about, right? And they even tried to spin the test results to make it look that way, but I don't want to lose sight of the point because I think it is the most important one. The panel I was just on was talking about how do we build real community-based education that is not all about how well you do on the test. So you're absolutely right. Okay, but here is what I was able to find out, and I got to thank Ms. Moore because she's the one who led me to do this. I would have been lazy and put it off for a week or so, and she said, you got to present this on Tuesday, Tom. So I went in, and she's going to have to apologize to my wife because I spent all weekend digging through the numbers, and boy, was what I found disgusting. So thank you for the point about standardized tests. Even this one thing that they claimed that they were trying to do, they failed at miserably, even though they won't admit they failed at miserably. So, real long story short, here's what I did. All I did was go into the Michigan Department of Education website, which any of us can do, and I looked at the numbers that were all actually posted there about the MEP test that the public got access to on Friday. Now, the EA had those scores for over a month. They've been spinning those. They've been thinking about how to spin it for a month already, right? To get the message out just right. But so we got them on Friday, and what I did is I went in and I looked at all of the numbers for the EAA. Now, I knew what their argument already was going to be. They had been saying all along that there weren't going to be a lot more kids who had reached what they consider the mountaintop, which is these high test scores, right? That's their mountaintop. And they wanted to say that, of course, we won't have reached the mountaintop yet because our kids, they say, are way down here. But they want to say our kids at least have climbed up a few steps on that mountainside, their mountaintop, to eventually get to the top. And what I was able to do is I was able to look at the data and see that, no, it's not even that they didn't get to their testing mountaintop, but they didn't even make any strides up the side of that hill.
Exactly. They fell off the hill.
They fell off the hill. They were standing by the ocean, by the mountain, and they fell into the ocean, is what they did. So the way that I was able to do this is they post, you can actually look at how students scored last year and then this year. So last fall 2012 when they opened their doors, and then this fall 2013, the one that we just got the results on. And so because they show the scores of 1,400 of the same students who took it last year and then took it again this year, we can see, did those students do better? Did they do worse? Did they do the same? And what you find when you look at that is really disturbing. Now remember, it's not a mountaintop that I defend, it's their mountaintop, okay? But what you find is that they couldn't even do that one thing, was to get those test scores up. So what you see is, when you look at just the students who were not proficient, who had not reached that mountaintop last year, and ask how many of them made some progress, at least some steps up that mountain, and what you find is that the overwhelming majority, over 80%, I don't have the number in front of me, but it's not so important. Here it is. 78.3% showed either no progress toward getting up the mountain, not even a step, or actually declined. So 44.1% stayed just where they were, didn't even start up the mountain, and 34.2% fell underground. Okay, they went down the other way. Very few made even any progress at all. And that was in math, and the same thing in reading. 58.5%, almost 60%, made no progress or actually went backward. Made no steps up that mountain or actually went backward. But here's what's really alarming to me, is that you did have a small handful of students in those EAA schools who in math and reading had already reached their testing mountaintop when they came into EAA. They came from DPS. They arrived at the EAA in fall of 2012. Of those who came in already at the top of that testing mountain,
somebody went back.
you're going to be really sad. You're going to be really sad. Let me get the numbers right
You
here.
should sue them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Criminal. So that's probably going to say at that meeting. Yes.
Okay, here it
Hold
is
on
right
to your
here.
jaws. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah.
That meeting.
So of those 50, so of those people who had reached that testing mountaintop in math, 82.1% declined.
No.
That's right, 82.1%. That's right. And
We need to make signs showing this data.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, I have some good news about that. But 66% of those declined so far that they are no longer proficient, according to which they're no longer in the mountaintop. They are no longer. They went in proficient, and 66% of them are no longer proficient in math and in reading. What's that?
Irreparable harm.
Yeah. 37% of those who came in at that proficient level, the mountaintop level on the reading test, 30% of them are now no longer proficient. Because they actually went downhill. They regressed, is what the data
They
tell
didn't have
us.
any teachers. They didn't have any books.
There you go.
They just had a broken computer. They sat there all day.
One last piece of news that I want to share, and then if people have a question, it's like I'm glad to answer it, is just a piece of good political news, which is sometimes you have strange bedfellows in politics. So we have one really good ally we knew we had, which is Representative Ellen Kogan-Lipton, who's been an advocate all along. But what she has done is she realized that the Republicans had so many votes that they could have gotten this EAA thing even bigger, and of course we want to get rid of it completely, and that is totally our objective, to get rid of it totally. But they want to expand it and put it into law. So what Ellen Lipton did is she actually found some Republicans who were, like one is a Representative Hooker, who was a teacher for 27 years, who understands what a school is like and all that. And anyway, long story short, he had a meeting with the governor today. He went to Representative Ellen Lipton's office, asked for my article, and took it to Governor Snyder. No, I haven't been fired yet. I think it's coming very soon.
You're going to be on it.
It's warm in here, so I'm happy about that. Yeah. What I'm hoping is, it's not that I have great faith in any Republicans or any politicians, really, period, except for this one and that one. That's it. And the elected school board members, that I have faith in them, the ones here. But nonetheless, I think that what it is more about is not that we're going to convince them the right thing, that Snyder's going to say, oh, you're right, I'm harming people. He doesn't care about that. What he cares about is his re-election, right?
Exactly.
And that's what we want to do, is stick this on him and make it so embarrassing that he pulls away and says, oh, no, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. And then that'll weaken the EAA more, and then we'll try to pin on him even more. So I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping politically that happens.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's why we were waiting for him to get here so we can tell you all the real news. Anybody insane would not have their child, even the insane would not have their child in EAA. We got to get our children out. Okay. Yes. Okay. Wait a minute. She has. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have a quick question. When we talk about the EAA, nobody seems to be talking about the fact that when they took over the schools, they fired highly qualified teachers.
Yes, we do. We talk about it.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
You know, and I wonder if the people who they presently have
Teach for America.
Right.
have the credentials.
No, they don't. That's part of the problem.
No.
That's part of
No, and they were running out the door in droves.
Yeah.
and they're leaving like crazy.
Oh, it's a very difficult situation because they don't
It's
know what
on
they're doing.
purpose. If you can mess up the education system, you can increase the prison population. And it's big money in prisons. We need everybody in here to commit to calling at least 10 people to get
down
them
in the
out.
whole damn city.
Right. Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce.
Please, call 10 people and get them out on Thursday. This is great tonight, but we got to show up in record numbers. Like he said, Snyder don't care about us, but he